Hello, and welcome to this beach adventure sleep story. Tonight, we are going to release your day so that you can relax and get a deep, peaceful night's sleep that you deserve, which will allow you to wake feeling refreshed and ready to face your day. Many people miss out on a good night's sleep simply because they refuse to let go of their day, or they are hanging on to tomorrow, mentally making sure that everything is done, trying to prepare, but actually stressing instead of resting and relaxing and allowing for the mind to quiet itself. I know it's not intentional, but it happens. Tonight's guided meditation will help you to quiet your mind and relax your body naturally, so that as you're listening to the stories, you can quietly drift off to sleep anytime your body is ready. If you haven't done so, please ensure that your device will not disturb you. Get comfortable. Make sure your blankets and covers and pillows are exactly where you want them to be. Now, focus your attention on your breath. Allow your breathing to be what anchors you this evening. Yes, it's perfectly natural for your mind to wander. If this happens, it's okay. Just acknowledge the thought and then return your focus to your breath. Let's take a few deep breaths. This will allow your body to begin to relax naturally. A long, deep breath in, holding it for a few seconds, and then out. Another long, deep breath in, holding it, and then out. Good. Close your eyes and relax as we enter tonight's adventure. The turbulent waters of the stunning, seagull-filled blue sea reflected the sky above. It was like a looking glass made of fluid, into which the heavens had dripped their most soothing shade of blue. My heart fluttered with bliss at the lovely sight, when suddenly, out of the blue, a breeze kicked up. The warm rays of the sun seeped into my skin. This, combined with the most laden breeze, stirred in me the most joyful sensations. It was like a loving hand caressing my cheeks and ruffling my hair. Waves of the most tranquil light washed over me, softly trickling over every fragment of my being. Closing my eyes, I took a deep, slow breath. Even slower, I exhaled, and all the while relished the quiet wonderland of the kingdom by the ocean. The sand was smooth against my bare feet as I strolled along the beach in my shorts and silk shirt. The suntan lotion I applied on my face was doing its trick. It had been a stressful week. Days and nights mingled with one another as I blurred through the precious moments of life. Suddenly, it had felt like I was losing the sense of my existence, of who I was. But today, all of that was going to change. No cell phones, pagers, computers, or televisions whatsoever. Instead, I was looking forward to spending my day in this breathtaking meadow of solitude by the ocean shore. All the stress was bound to melt away, transforming into a wisp that would dissolve into the air. I glanced at the waves spilling over and receding back into the ocean. I wanted the receding waves to take away all my stress and worries with them. Glittering and glimmering clusters of water droplets captured the sun's rays, making it appear as if crystals of sunlight were scattered over the water surface. A folding chair was placed nearby. In the distance, a few kids were lapping in the water whenever high tides came. Their delightful laughter was carried by the breeze and into my ears. The folding chair was really close to the water, so it was a nice little place to be sitting on and dipping my feet into the water. The ground was soft and sandy, small patches of it containing footprints of the people strolled over. Behind me, there was the city's hustle and bustle, its ceaseless activity and honking of car horns. Of course, these were the shades of existence, but we humans needed spaces like these to restore ourselves, to participate in the hustle and bustle of life. The songs of the seagulls and the waves drifted through the air and into my ears, even from here. The orchestra of the seagulls and the waves was all this beauty reduced into sound. I settled into the chair, into a comfortable position before letting my legs dangle. The water splashed as I lightly tapped on it with the soles of my feet. Ripples went waving out over the part where the water went deeper. The blowing breeze picked up a little more momentum. Its shadow cast over the surface, like that of a fluttering curtain over a rug. in the distance. Every now and then, a fish jumped out before splashing back into its aquatic world. To think that a world teeming with life resided beneath the stretch of blue. Oh, the serenity, the tranquility of Mother Nature's delightful crafts. Taking another long, deep, and ever so slow breath, I closed my eyes, painting my mind's canvas with all that surrounded me. All kinds of colors splashed over this canvas in my head. Clouds of fluff, wanderers in the sky, drifted across the sun, whose rays filtered through it. This was the perfect opportunity to be pouring out the thoughts in my mind. Presently, they were like the bubbles that appeared on the lake's surface, darting around for a while. They popped away, leaving behind no traces, only replaced by other bubbles. Such were my thoughts of this treasure trove of loveliness, but they were too precious to be allowed to pop away. I took out my little notebook and pen and scribbled on the pages. I wrote about the beautiful sights and the enchanting scents, the mellow sounds, and the water's gentle touch. Some of the words I rhymed. The others were freer than the rest. I felt a great weight slowly lift off my shoulders as words poured out of my head and onto the page. A calm spread over my heart, warming me ever so lovingly, as if nature had taken me into its arms. Once I felt light as a drifting feather. I stopped jotting down. The notebook's pages were filled with such minds wondering, the soul expressing its joy. I had taken up this habit many years ago, at another challenging time of my life. The key was to let go of the rush and bustle of everyday life. By finding a place as lovely as this one, it often felt like these green and blue earth fragments simply existed to provide respite for troubled hearts. Sometimes I would trek through the Alps, reside in a cabin within the woods, or even find a solitary spot where the stars showed up the brightest. Once reaching such heaven, the next step was to drown in all the sensory perceptions until the heart began to flutter, until it would ache to sing back to the bounties of Mother Nature, the mesmerizing fountains of beauty. Taking another long look at the sky, the ocean, The sun, now slowly sinking into the horizon, I stood up and made my way closer to the sea. The glow of heaven's lamp was smudged over the realm where land and sky meet each other. The light shifted its colors. Once I was knee-deep in the tides, I saw boats bobbing in the distance, fishermen casting their nets, hoping to catch fish for meals. There was a restaurant nearby where I had planned to have my dinner of lobster. The ocean view reminded me of a fairy tale my mother used to tell me when I was a child. It is the same one I tell my kids before bed. Once upon a time, there lived a mermaid called Maya in a city of coral reefs. There was some festival in the sea that made things too loud for her to sleep. To find a place to get some rest and replenishing shut-eye, she made her way to the surface. Just as Maya, the mermaid, broke out of the water, the sounds of seagulls fell on her ears, and the sunlight warmed her skin. She loved the drastically different sensations that the upper world had to offer. Looking at the seagulls flapping their wings and staying aloft in the air, Maya always felt that the air was a kind of ocean in itself for the birds. It appeared they swam through something like water. One of the seagulls, of the same size as Maya, dived towards her from the air. She had a kind expression on her face, hovering just over the water. She slid her feet over it, stroking the blue mirror of the sky. Upon reaching Maya, the seagull bowed her head. Maya closely observed the white feathers, puffy and slightly wet. "And what may have brought you to this side of the world, my dear mermaid?" the seagull asked gently. Maya quickly explained her situation in precise and short sentences. "I have not slept in a while. Whenever I close my eyes, some sort of racket bubbles into my room. They are celebrating something so loudly and without a break. I really need to sleep, dear seagull." "Oh, you poor little thing," the seagull said in earnest. "Well, no need to worry. I will have you out of here in a blink. There is a place where you will find what you are looking for." Continually saying her thanks, Maya's heart leaped with joy as she clambered onto the seagull's fluffy back. The white coat was ever so soft against her skin. The seagull's warm feathers pressed against her relatively cold form. Asking her to hold on tight, the seagull beat her wings whose motion was imitated by the water surface. They rushed through the air, which made Maya's golden hair flutter like a drape caught in the breeze. Usually, she was used to having them. The breeze that spattered against her face made her squint her eyes. Looking above, she saw the red of the sunlight filtered through her eyelids. The seagull dipped and soared. Despite her sleepy state of mind, Maya the mermaid felt absolutely exhilarated by the ride. Opening her eyes, she witnessed the vast expanse of the sea, which united with the horizon on all sides, no matter where she looked. Down below, dolphins did their elegant porpoise movements, becoming one with the air and water. They came out and back in with a single motion. This was by far the most exciting thing that Maya had seen them do. It was nothing compared to how they were within the ocean. They had been soaring for some time when the giant blow whale slowly emerged to the surface. The gush of water sent into the air by the blow whale scattered the sunlight into the 7 colors of the rainbow. Just as Maya was delighting in the sight, the seagull gave her an idea. Jumping down at the right time, Maya was caught in the blowing water, which propelled her upwards as she did a little flip by curving her tail. Before Maya could start falling down, the seagull swished into position below her, catching her just in time. And so, she was back on the seagull's back. They shared a good laugh about the little adventure, but their destination was getting closer. A wave of relief washed over Maya as she caught sight of the most beautiful place to sleep. Made entirely of leaves and flower petals, the king-sized bed floated on the water, rocking gently with the water's rhythm. The seagull straightened her wings and steered towards their final destination. As they reached over the extended foot of the flower and leaf bed, Maya jumped off the seagull's back and landed on the soft surface with a muffled thud. Instantly, the enchantment took her in its embrace as sweet exhaustion flooded throughout her human and fish body. She stretched and yawned, muttering her warmest thanks to the seagull, who looped the loop before flying off over the ocean. Maya abandoned all thoughts of the world and snuggled into the bed of flower petals and leaves, taking cover in the cool shade of the canopy above. Almost in an instant, she was sleeping to enchanting dreams of flying in the air with her own wings. I remember applauding whenever my mother finished telling the story. It was amazing how my children did the same. Well, they clapped and yawned by the story's end. I looked over at the ocean, watching the seagulls and the jumping fishes. Behind me, people were collecting their things as the sunlight was slowly fading. But I stood there, watching the sun slowly slip out of sight. I admired the many colors it splashed over the sky while inching away to shine over another part of the world. Turning on my heels, I felt the wet sand as I made my way to the restaurant. After dining on scrumptious lobster, I felt a wave of drowsiness wash over me. Much like the mermaid in my mother's fairy tale, I made my way to the beach house, looking forward to a most refreshing sleep.